Welcome to a rather chilly Melbourne. Here I am at my favourite rose garden, and I've never seen it like this before. It's reflecting the season that I'm in at the moment. I always come here to the rose garden it's in the Botanical Gardens in St Kilda. I always come here in spring or summer, so I've only ever seen it in blossom. And I'm just down in Melbourne for a weekend just to hang out with my son and play for a bit. And I thought, I have to go to the rose garden. And I walked in and went, oh, of course, it's winter. It's looking a little different. But it was also so perfect. Now, you may remember this rose garden. If you've been following my channel for a while, I did a video here in January this year, and it was a channeling from Mary Magdalene, and it was called Trust. And that video, I think, is my most viewed video. And many new ladies have come into my world as a result of that video, came on retreat with me, have joined my membership, and it was a vibrant time. Everything was blossoming. It was midsummer in Australia. And I felt called to come here again. And as I said at first, I mean, of course I knew it wasn't going to be blossoming because it's winter. But it was still a bit of a shock when I walked in and my eyes went, oh, where's the colour? Where's the vibrancy? Where's the life? And then, of course, once I looked closely, there is life emerging, because these beautiful rose bushes have had their time of stillness. They've had their time of going in, of saving their life force energy, and then allowing new creation to birth from that. And it reflects so much what is happening for me at this time with my enforced winter, since I was supposed to be still in England at this point in summer. And having this 6 weeks of winter that I wasn't expecting has really been a time for me to go in. So as I reflected on Mary Magdalene's message here in January, which was all about trust, this time she said to me, trust the seasons. And I think this is something that we are not very good at doing. We want to be blossoming all the time. We want to be showing ourselves to the world. We want to be yanging. We want to be putting our energy out there. And for most people anyway, not everyone's like that, but for many people and with the society we live in, going internally, going indoors, going within, inside ourselves, is something that we do not allow space for. We do not allow space for us to have our own winter. And yet it is such a rich time. Just like these roses, the winter gives you the opportunity to prune all the branches, all those that have blossomed and maybe had their day and been wonderful, but they're ready to let go of now. And we can prune ourselves in that winter. And we can find our core, our main trunk again. And sitting in that place, we can allow ourselves to blossom. We can let those little shoots start to come out, just like is happening with all these rose bushes. There apparently have been a couple of warm days here that have given these roses just a chance to blossom, or not to blossom again, but just to start to shoot again. And this is their journey now into summer. And each of them, although they'll hold their basic form that they held last year, they're going to look different. Their branches are going to be going out at different angles. They might have different clusters to what they had last year. Their blossom might be richer this year because of their inward time. So we all have that. And this is why it is so important for us to allow ourselves to have a winter. And that doesn't necessarily mean your winter has to be in alignment with the seasons. Of course, the seasons support that. And as someone who hasn't had a winter since 2022. So it's been 3 years since I've been in a winter. It was long overdue for me. And so I am really taking advantage of this time to go in, this time to sit with myself, to prune some branches and to see what is going to blossom for me. And already in that process, I have had some little branches emerge, and I have cultivated them, and I have created with them, and I am allowing them to blossom. And one of those little branches, which I wanted to share with you, is a beautiful 5-week journey that I have created it's for September. It's an online journey where we meet once a week. So there's 5 calls. And this journey is one of my Remember journeys. This is my 5th Remember journey. And this one is called Remember the 5 Initiations of the Mary. And this has birthed within me as I've sat in this winter. I had an idea when I was over in England, and even leading up to that, I had an idea for something I wanted to share, but it really only emerged from me as I returned to Australia and as I allowed myself to sit in the winter that I've been experiencing. And this creation emerged. And I feel really passionate about it because it is deeper than any of the Remember journeys I've held so far. And in fact, the one I held last year was Remember the Path of the Priestess. And we went to 5 different priestess experiences, different places where the path of the priestess has been walked. And that was a deep journey, but I almost feel like that's been preparation for this journey. Because these 5 initiations of the Mary, it's almost like they are the 5 initiations of the great goddess. And the Mary was a priestess title. And you know, if you have walked that path, you know it. And very often, many of the people in my world connected to the rose have walked the path of the Mary. That is the connection to the rose. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it right now. I'll make another video about that. But I have created this journey, and just to give you a very quick overview of it, and linking it into what I'm talking about, trusting the seasons, is that within this journey, there are 3 weeks. It's weeks 2, 3, and 4, which interestingly are around the eclipse. The first call is on the first eclipse, then we have the midpoint on the second call, and then the final eclipse on the third call. So the eclipse season is happening in September. And those 3 weeks, 2, 3, and 4, we are journeying into we are experiencing an initiation through, I've called it the Virgin Mary, but it's actually like the white goddess. That's the first, that's week 2. Week 3, we're going to be journeying with the Black Madonna and undergoing an initiation with the Black Madonna. That's the dark goddess. And then week 4, we're going to have an initiation with Mary Magdalene, or Mary of the Magdalene. And that's the rose goddess, I call her. And these will all be in different locations. As part of the journey, I'll be taking you into a location somewhere. There will be different beings of the rose line coming through to support you in the initiation that I guide you through. And that will be bookended by weeks 1 and weeks 5. Week 1 is I've called it Mary of the Sea. It is the Stella Maris, the star of the sea. And in this is where we journey deep into the waters, into the primordial waters, where this energy first emerged from, the energy of the Mary. So that will be a very powerful, deep journey. And then at the end, in week 5, in some ways we go back to the Stella Maris, but we're going to go to the Stella aspect. We're going to go to Mary of the heavens, Queen of the heaven, and we're going to be tuning in to the galactic initiation of the Mary. And so we'll begin with this primal waters on the earth energy, go through these journeys with the white goddess, the black goddess, and the rose goddess, and then we'll finish with the galactic initiation. I don't know what's coming through yet. I never do until I'm in the space, or just in the few days leading up to the call, I'll get a sense of it. But I'm already feeling what's emerging and blossoming within me. I'm feeling those shoots coming out, and I know this is a whole different journey for me. This is like the rose line, and the frequency of the rose line taken to a whole new vibration. So I'm very excited about this journey. Now, there's more information about it on the invitation page, so I'll pop the link below if you're interested in joining me for that. So it's 5 90-minute calls. The calls are in a Monday evening for my time in Australia. They won't suit all time zones, but you do get the replay within 24 hours. And it's just as powerful listening to the replay of these calls. The cost is 188 Australian dollars. There is an early bird until Sunday the 24th. That's the early bird price. The usual price is 222. Now, I've written on the invitation page approximately what that converts to in your currency, so you get a bit of an understanding of what that price is. I'm going to create another video where I really drop into the energy of it and do a channeling. I had thought I might have done a channeling here today because I was very aware of Mary Magdalene's energy again, but it's too cold. I'm ready to get back to my son's warm apartment. But I really wanted to bring this message to you of the rose in her sleeping phase, and to invite you to go into that phase yourself if you feel inclined. And maybe you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you're really in summer and that's not where you're at, and that's understandable. But as you move into the autumn, into the fall, really allow yourself to drop into that. And sometimes that winter phase could be just a weekend. You may just require a weekend of stillness, a weekend of going in, a weekend without social media, without watching videos, without interacting, and just going in and nurturing yourself, and allowing yourself to even meet the dark goddess in that place, to meet the stillness, to meet the void. Empty yourself and allow space for new creations to emerge. It truly is vital. We are not designed to be constantly yang, to be constantly giving, to be putting our energy out there. We are meant to balance that with the going within, with the receiving, with the winter, with being pruned back and looking, fairly average to the ordinary eye, unless you can see in that bush, and you can see the potential, and you can see the beauty, and you can see the blossoming that's just waiting for its time to reveal itself. Trust the seasons. Trust the seasons of your life. Trust the seasons of your friendships. Trust the seasons of your work, or whatever it is you're sharing with the world. Trust the seasons. And if you can flow and surrender to that trust, that there is a time for shining and there is a time to dim your light and direct it inwards. And that is how we're creating New Earth. And that is also how you will ride through this wave of these times where there is so much action out there, that often to find the stillness, we must go within. We must create our own winter, our own time to be. Trust the seasons that are required for us to blossom in our fullness. Because the world requires you in that fully blossomed state, but not 365 days of the year. We all have a season. We must recharge. We must give to ourselves, honor ourselves as much as we love to give to others. But this comes first. And this requires a winter. Rose blessings to you.